Hello and welcome to Journeys in Faith here on this Friday evening. This is Anne DeSantis, joined by my friend and also someone that I work very closely with at the St. Raymond Nonnatus Foundation, Mickey Kelly. Mickey, thank you for joining me on Journeys in Faith.
Hello, Anne. Great to be here. I mean, it's been a long time. There's no question about that. So I'm sure people were curious, where have you been? I'm like, well, I'm giving you some updates now. So
Yes, that's right. And for our audience from the foundation, Mickey has been serving with us as the president of the foundation since 2020. We're very grateful. I can't believe we're going into our fifth year. And also for people from my personal YouTube channel who aren't as familiar with Mickey, Mickey and I also have our own podcast that we did for a very long time, and that's located at the Philly Nonatus YouTube channel. So you can like and subscribe there too, because we have a lot of great podcasts that we've done together. But before we really delve in, I thought maybe Mickey, could you just tell us a little bit about your faith journey for people who are watching and maybe aren't familiar with, you in general, and just also any updates that you might want to give.
sure, for those who are curious about me, so I'm cradle Catholic. I was born and raised Catholic. Um, there were times like I probably nearly gave up on the faith, but for somehow I just kept pushing forward, and here I am now. Um, I'm a fourth degree Knight of Columbus. I've been a Knight for member of Knights of Columbus for like 17 years, 14 of which I have been a Sir Knight, currently holding a key position like in the fourth degree ranks. I'll be leaving that soon. We'll see what God wills about that. Um, so last time I was probably like on the show, actually, I believe I was um, working minimum wage. That actually changed into teaching. It didn't work out, and now I'm working for the city, and I actually just became an author this past summer, which is super exciting about. And I also I'm actually getting ready to be married this coming June. It's exciting time for me, and it's an exciting time for a lot of people who are probably listening, who maybe are thinking about marriage, or maybe thinking about like maybe making that move, like to ask that person like out on a date or whatever. So it's an exciting time, not just for me, but for like someone that's like listening to this podcast episode.
Absolutely. You know that I definitely wanted to touch on that too, right? Wanted to touch on advice that you might have. I mean, I've known you for a while now, and I've seen you grow so much in your faith and really be so prayerful. And you also have your own YouTube channel. I want to mention that to people that are watching, that Mickey's podcast it's actually the Catholic Philadelphian YouTube channel. And he does a weekly gospel reflection. It's really great. So I want to invite you to like and subscribe there too. There's going to be a lot of invitations on this podcast, right? Because we've done a lot of collaborative work together, helping families in crisis. That's a lot of the topics that we've done on our other Philly Nonatus YouTube channel. Mickey, we were talking before we started this podcast that this is a very big year for you. And you mentioned your writing. So why don't we start there? I really want to delve into your engagement and maybe some tips that you would have also to engage couples. But let's start out with your writing. You're a writer for Epic Pew, for Catholic 365, and also this book that you wrote. Let's really delve in and tell us a lot more about that.
Sure, and as you mentioned, I actually am a writer as well. So I started out with Voices for Life blog, so I contribute to like the pro life cause, like mostly like local and sharing like local, state, national news. And over time, it actually with through you actually I became a regular for Catholic 365. Prior to that, I wrote for CatholicPhilly.com for quite a few years, and I felt in the back of my mind I wanted to do like more, maybe try to reach like a larger audience. And summer 2022, I was invited by you and that to become a writer for 365, and I haven't looked back. To date now, I have over 400 articles written in like almost a 3-year span, which is kind of impressive, for someone that's like, kind of still a bit of like a new kid on the block. And I have reached out to some friends and colleagues if they would be interested. I mean, maybe in time they will. Who knows? We'll see what happens. Um, I have been writing for Epic Pew, as you mentioned too. I actually took a break from them for a while. I did start out writing with them, and then there was new leadership that took over with TJ, and I was like, I had to get back in the saddle some way, somehow. And so here I am there. And I also, as you mentioned, I am a published author. My debut novel, The Scars of Amy Haynes, was published last summer on Amazon. So everyone is encouraged to buy that book and share that with others. So if those are curious about the book, it's basically a fictional. It's basically a historic fiction about a female veteran who is disabled, who comes to terms with her past. I drew inspiration from a couple of YouTube videos I saw, and I thought, you know what, I have to, you know, tell that story from that standpoint. And those are curious, am I still writing? Yeah, I'm still writing. I actually have um I'm actually like brainstorming a lot of ideas. I'm also trying to find the motivation to finish another standalone novel that is set during World War II.
Yeah, you got a lot of great things going on. I told you this before, but I really believe that this is going to be a wonderful year for you, and for many reasons. One of those huge reasons is that you're engaged, as you said, um, and the wedding is coming up. I believe it's June 13th of 2025. And we are going to talk a lot more about the preparations and everything, but just tell us a little bit about your engagement. It is a wonderful and an exciting time for you.
Sure, and so I have been engaged to an amazing lady by the name of Hannah. And make long story short, we met through a Catholic group called Philly Catholics, and I actually sent an invitation to connect with her um, spring 2022. At the time, she was a senior at college, and I was still working for Amazon. And she declined it, and I was like, okay, whatever. And by that fall, actually, she reached back out to me because she had a question about a an event that was happening about the late father Jason Kulzinski, who passed away recently. He would always have on display his hundreds of relics that he has in his possession. I'm not sure what has come about that at this time, but I hope something. I hope someone did became the keeper of it. I passed it on to her, and basically the rest was history. So, and here we are now. We got engaged April 2024 on Divine Mercy Sunday, and I just felt like just like God's blessings like was poured out on each of us. Like I helped her get a job as a biology teacher in high school, and she encouraged me to pursue teaching. It didn't work out for me, but then she also encouraged me like don't give up like looking for a job. And my new job now, like she encouraged me, and then there were like some like little like blessings like in our like relationships that I've took. No, I mean I could spend a lot of time discussing that, but I mean God knows it, and knows my heart as well. She's been supportive of me like in most of my endeavors, like pro life and writing. She likes to have a little backstage pass of me watching my working on the projects, and she also like like I I'll put it this way, like she's been like my best friend, and I love her for who she is. And in this day and age, like people seem to like you know fall in love with people for all the wrong reasons, like money, looks, you know, prestige, whatever the case is. But if there's something that like I could offer to people is that just remember when someone asks you out on a date, it's not a marriage proposal, but you have an opportunity to get to know someone that is unique. I mean, you go on a date, that person doesn't work out, just move on. It's plain and simple. But always remember, You're dating to prepare for marriage. And that's what it's all about. I mean, yes, you're going to have good dates, and you may want to go for the second date. You may have a great date, but then you're like, you know what, you were great and everything. You were an amazing person, but I just don't think I'm the right fit for you. You just move on, plain and simple. In this day and age too, like, we're all worked up and like, caught up in this like whole thing, like, well, I don't like people will probably give you like all the wrong opinions about that person and be like, and then you're missing out on a great opportunity right there. I mean, that's like something I've learned in my dating experience. I mean, someone out there that's like feel like that they're discouraged, don't be. Just got to keep going.
Yeah, that's great advice because you said it best. I think our culture is giving all the wrong messages about what love is about and what commitment is about and what the sanctity of marriage. So I just thank you so much. Now, we're going to talk a lot more about that right after. We're going to have like a little short break here. So we'll be back in just a couple. Hello, this is Anne DeSantis. I'm an author and speaker with the Catholic Speakers Organization. To learn about my work and ministry or to book an event, visit the speaking events page at annedesantis.com. Thank you. Okay, I said it was quick and it was. We're back again. So we talked about your writing. We talked a little bit about the engagement. We talked about, some other things and aspects of your life. What is it else? What else would you like to share with everyone about just any updates having to do with either personal or professional?
I would say like I would like it to just build on like expand a little bit on like dating. So um before I met Hannah, I went through 10 year a 10-year gap from the last relationship to when I met, dated, and now on the verge of marrying Hannah. And I've learned some lessons from it. As a matter of fact, I've wrote about it a few times, like in some of my articles actually, in which I shared like if there are three things I could offer to people is number one, keep praying for your spouse. You never know where he or she is. He could be deployed overseas. He could be in the seminary, probably thinking again about maybe thinking twice about, the priesthood. He could be in your church. You just don't even realize it. It could be, over to the far right and you're on the left side of the church, right there. And to the guys out there, you know, continue praying for your spouse. Most important is, when you feel the ache of loneliness, and there were times where I felt it when I was with family, like, I have older siblings who are married and have kids, or I'm with friends that, or every time, like, I do, like, sometimes I've been guilty of doing what's called a doom scroll. And there are people that, like, I would see people that get engaged, they jump in a relationship, they get married and everything. Sometimes it just, like, it just hits me, and I look, there's nobody there with me, like, to accompany me to share the news, like, what's going on with the day, or like, hey, maybe we should plan to do something fun. you know just know something. First of all, being single is not a curse. God is writing your love story. What it takes is you placing your trust in him. That's the most important way to navigate singlehood. The other thing I could offer to anyone out there that is not sure about asking that well, this is for the guys, of course, because you're supposed to be making the moves, right? And you have to do all the planning. You're not sure about that girl, like if you're tempted to hold hands with her in the Our Father, which you shouldn't do that, by the way. The hands are in this gesture speech for the priest only, okay? Just walk up to that girl that veils or whatever after mass, be like, "Hey, I see a mass all the time, and I would like to get to know you. Would you like to meet me for coffee?" Something simple. First off, it's bold, and two, it's like it's simple, straight to the point. And the final thing is always like start preparing for marriage now. I mean, I know the missing thing is like you need to date somebody to figure out, okay, am I going to marry this person or what? Prepare now. Pray, get your house in order. Now, everything else, like, going for promotions, be a little ambitious, in your professional development. That's fine. That's great too. But prepare your soul. Receive the sacraments. Keep going to mass every given Sunday. Go to adoration. Pray. Those are the things that will help you prepare for marriage. Recently, my fiance and I met Archbishop Joseph Nallman, who is the Archbishop of Kansas City. And he reminded us that marriage is a vocation. And the fact that there are people that are willing to commit to such a beautiful sacrament of sacrifice really says a lot. And let's face it, matrimony is a sacrament. Marriage is a vocation, just like the priesthood, the religious life, singlehood, consecrated virgin. Everything's just those. They're all sacrament. They're vocations in the church, and none is greater than the other. They're all equal, but there's like some different charisms, if you will, think about them. But of course, without holy marriages, there could be no more that, like, other vocations will probably fall apart. And the one thing that marriage will teach you is about, you know, putting your spouse ahead of everything else, even your family, looking out for them, learn it like the roles of the father, the mother, and those are the things that like it will teach you, like, when you're in the household. And oftentimes it just teaches you as you go along. And let's face it, no one's going to be a perfect spouse. Like, there are times we're going to be falling, but the question is, are you going to get up, or are you just going to stay down? But for me, I just like to get up and just, like, just go harder.
Yes, I know that about you, and I couldn't be happier for you. My husband and I are very happy for you and Hannah, praying for you. And I thought maybe we could touch on that a little bit. I know that prayer has played a very big role in your life and also in the two of your lives together. You are preparing for marriage. I know you have to start with pre-Cana probably pretty soon,
Hmm.
and that will be something else. But if you would just share a little bit about how prayer has played a role in both of your lives, especially since this engagement.
Well, oftentimes, like, Hannah and I, we actually would pray a rosary together. We would um, do morning prayer, and we also would go to the Sisters of Life holy hours that happen like once a month. Like, she would enjoy, this the simplest things. One of the things that we always want to make sure we make a point to do together is attending mass every week, and of course, holy days of obligation. You see, when couples, when they're going from dating to marriage, when they go to mass together, they're putting God at the center of the relationship because they want God as their guide. You know, we have a GPS all the time that we use to get to point A to point B, right? And think of God as, that GPS. Like, he wants to guide you to what that's something that is bigger than you and me. And that is heaven. Without God, the marriage is going to fall apart. So it's important, pray with your pray with, your fiance, or, your wife, or even the person you're dating, pray together. Like, make time to go to adoration, make time to go to mass every week. And also make time to, like, you know, pray before the Blessed Sacrament. You do those, I guarantee you're going to transform that relationship for the best.
That's very good advice, especially about adoration. And I know that the two of you always try to go to mass together, which will be something that you started when you were dating and with being engaged. And of course, once you're married, you'll be going to mass every week together. You have so much to look forward to. I mean, just so much. I can't wait to do another Journeys in Faith, like maybe next year after you've been married for, maybe almost a year. We can do kind of an anniversary show or something like that. Um, I wondered if you could touch on, now we're not quite finished the show yet, but you yourself have gone through a lot of different things that have challenged your faith, but you never gave up. And you might have some good advice for somebody watching who is feeling kind of down and out. I mean, like you said, how far you've come. And I know even since I've known you, how far you've come with certain things that have happened in the past. All of us have had things that have happened, right? But you have such good insight onto how to see God even in those difficult times. Please do share.
Sure. So, to someone that may be watching this that feels like they want to give up, you know, just remember something. God never gave up on you. You shouldn't either. Every day, you know, He gives you a new day. He gives you an opportunity to get up and start over again. He wants you to seize it. Even St. Paul wrote to the Philippians, I can do all things in Christ who strengthens me. As long as God is strengthening you to keep going, there's no reason for you to give up. Always push forward. Surround yourself with people that are willing to help you strive for what's greater now, what is to come, and that is heaven. You surround yourself with people that are willing to challenge you to be a better version of yourself. There's no shame in it. You just got to keep going. Another thing I could say is just pray to God for strength and listen to talks too from even Father Mike, even, some Catholic evangelists out there, or even listen to uplifting, Catholic music from, Matt Meyer, PJ Anderson, and many others that are out there. I guarantee you that they will help you. But always remember that you're always God's beloved child, and He wants you to be reunited with Him again. But what it takes for you is to persevere.
Hmm. Excellent advice as always. And I want to draw people to that Catholic Philadelphian YouTube channel too, because if you really like listening to Mickey and his messages, he does those gospel reflections. He is on Instagram, right? Facebook at the Catholic Philadelphian. You can look him up. I'm sure Hannah's watching right now, Mickey. I didn't know if you wanted to make a shout out to her because this will be a special podcast for her to watch too, and maybe come back and watch again.
Yeah. Hannah, I just want to say, if you're watching this podcast episode, I just want to say that I love you, and I appreciate all the times that you help me become a better man, and I promise to help you continue to become a better woman.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. This has been a wonderful podcast. Any final words before we end?
Always persevere for what's greater, and soldier on with the faith.
That's right. Soldier on with the faith. This has been great. I know that I said I was going to give a lot of shout outs. So just remember to go to that Philly Nonatus YouTube channel, which is the one for the St. Raymond Nonatus Foundation, where Mickey and I work together. Me as executive director, Mickey as the board president, and some of those great podcasts that we've done in the past. This is the Anne DeSantis YouTube channel. So please do subscribe if you would. Mickey, thank you so much again.
Thanks a lot, Ann.
We'll see all of you the first and third Friday of every month at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. God bless, and we will see you next time.
Take care.